In 2024, the average American family spent over $78,000. But here's the terrifying part. A massive chunk of that money was stolen from you by design. Today, I am breaking down 12 wealth traps that are keeping you broke in 2026. No fluff, no BS, just brutal math. The first trap, overpriced coffee drinks. A cup of custom-made specialty coffee costs $7 to $9. At $7 a cup, 5 days a week, that comes to $1,820 a year. If you buy high-quality beans and brew them at home, each cup costs 60 to 80 cents, totaling just $300 a year. The difference is $1,520. If you invest that $1,520 at an 8% annualized return for 30 years, it grows to approximately $188,000. Starbucks isn't selling caffeine, it's selling a ritual. Once buying coffee becomes a fixed morning ritual, your brain stops evaluating the price. The vast majority of people have never made a conscious choice. It simply becomes second nature. The second trap, food delivery platforms. Food delivery platforms take a 15% to 30% cut from restaurants, which in turn raise menu prices by 20% to 25%. And that's before factoring in service fees, delivery charges, and tips. A $12 burger at a restaurant becomes $22.24 on the app. An 80% to 100% markup, assuming you order takeout twice a week and overpay by $15 each time, that adds up to $1,560 a year. Invest that amount at an 8% return for 20 years, and it grows to over $71,000. Even more insidious are subscription plans. You pay a $10 monthly fee, and to make it back, you end up ordering more frequently. This is world-class business engineering. The third trap, buy now, pay later platforms. Platforms like Affirm and Klarna split a single payment into 4 installments, claiming there's no interest. But studies show that people who use buy now, pay later spend 10%, 40% more per transaction than those who pay in full. You might think a $200 coat is expensive, but seeing $50 per installment over 4 payments makes it seem affordable. A Federal Reserve survey found that nearly 40% of users have a history of late payments. Once you fall behind, exorbitant late fees and high-interest debt follow. Core rule, except for a home or a necessary vehicle, if you can't pay for it in full, you can't afford it. These platforms exist solely to exploit the gap between your desires and your purchasing power. The fourth trap, the streaming subscription matrix. Netflix $15.49, Disney $13.99, Hulu $11.99, HBO Max $15.99, Amazon Prime around $9, Apple Television Plus $9.99, Peacock $7.99, Paramount $11.99. Subscribing to all of them costs over $91 a month, or $1,097 a year, already exceeding the cost of cable television back in the day. A 2025 Deloitte report noted that the average household subscribes to 4.5 services. Platforms intentionally fragment content to make it impossible for you to cancel. They've recreated the cable television bundle, only to sell it to you in pieces. The fifth trap, subscription blind boxes. This is a $32 billion a year industry. What blind boxes are really selling is dopamine, the anticipation of opening an unknown box, which operates on the same mechanism as a casino slot machine. A blind box costs $25, $50 a month, yet the actual retail value of its contents is far lower than what you pay. The cancellation process has undergone thousands of FTB tests, featuring retention pages, discount temptations, and emotional manipulation. One person struggled for 9 months to cancel a beauty blind box subscription, ultimately throwing away $315. Blind box companies have long counted this kind of churn as acceptable attrition. The sixth trap, the downfall of fast food. There was a time when a Big Mac meal cost just a few dollars. Now, in most US markets, it costs $12, $15. Since 2019, fast food prices have skyrocketed by about 55%. The core appeal of fast food used to be cheap and fast. But now the cheap is gone. All that's left is junk food, sold at prices that chain restaurants charged 5 years ago. For the same $12, sunny $15, you could easily buy fresh ingredients at the supermarket and cook at home. Eating fast food 4 times a week costs $2,496 a year. If you switch 2 of those meals to home cooked meals, you save $1,200 a year. It takes about the same amount of time, and it's much healthier. The 7th trap, the premium brand tax. A bottle of Tide laundry detergent costs $12, stunning $15, while the supermarket's private label costs $6, stunning $8. In many cases, they come from the same contract manufacturer, the same production line, and use the same formula. The extra money you pay goes toward packaging, Super Bowl ads, and coupon printing costs. Consumer Reports confirms that store brands are just as good as name brands. Over-the-counter ibuprofen has the exact same active ingredients and concentration as Advil. Switching to store brands for household cleaning supplies, groceries, paper products, and over-the-counter medicines immediately saves you 25%, 40%. Assuming annual spending of $5,000, you save $1,200, fundy $2,000 a year. Extend this to luxury goods. A cotton sweatshirt emblazoned with a designer logo cost $800, sunny $1,200. Yet the material cost difference from a $40 generic sweatshirt is at most $20. The rest is all brand equity. You repaying someone to print their logo on your chest as a billboard. Thomas Stanley's research found that the people who truly accumulate the most wealth are certainly not those who wear their wealth on their sleeves. The 8th trap, expensive weddings fueled by emotional blackmail. The average cost of a typical wedding in the US is $35,000. Research from Emory University found that couples who spend over $50,000 on their wedding have a 46% higher divorce rate than those who spend less than $10,000. The wedding industry's price gouging mechanism. The same banquet hall costs $500 for a corporate event, but $5,000 for a wedding reception. The same photographer charges $1,500 for a family portrait session, but $6,000 for a wedding. The same service, with a different label, costs 10 times as much. If you invested that $35,000 at an 8% annualized return, it would grow to $160,000 by your 20th wedding anniversary. I'm not suggesting you settle for a bare-bones civil ceremony, but rather that you recognize how this industry is charging an emotional blackmail premium. The 9th trap, luxury travel fueled by debt. Airfare is now 30%, 40% higher than in 2019. A family's week-long trip to Disney costs an average of $8,000, sunny $10,000. Travel has real value, but the trap lies in financing vacations with credit card debt. Many people can come up with $1,000 for an emergency fund, yet they use credit cards with 20% annual interest rates to pay for trips, costing thousands of dollars. Bankrate research shows that the joy of travel fades in a matter of weeks, while the bills take months to pay off. The human brain has a time discount. Enjoyment is immediate, while repayment is future and abstract. In reality, budget travel can fully deliver the core experience. Driving instead of flying, staying in a vacation rental instead of a resort, and buying groceries to cook your own meals. Unforgettable memories are never about the tiles in a hotel pool, but about who you with. If you charge a $6,000 vacation to your credit card and pay it off over 12 months at a 20% interest rate, you'll actually end up paying $7,920. The 10th trap, the fatal 5 minutes of buying a new car. A new car depreciates by 20% the moment it drives out of the dealership. With the average new car price in 2026 at $48,000, that means $9,600 vanishes the moment you hit the road. By the end of the first year, depreciation reaches 25%, 30%. If you finance the purchase, the loan balance won't decrease fast enough to keep up with the depreciation rate, leaving you in a state of negative equity. The average monthly payment for a new car is $738, totaling $8,856 a year. And that doesn't even include insurance or gas. What do smart people do? They buy a used car of the same model, that's 5 years old one, that has already weathered the steepest part of the depreciation curve. Drive it for 3 or 4 years, then sell it before major repairs are needed. with minimal depreciation. Thomas Stanley found that the median value of a car owned by a typical millionaire is about $31,000. They absolutely refuse to pay a status premium just for the sake of appearances. The 11th trap, the latest digital gadget trap. A brand new iPhone 16 costs about $1,200. An officially refurbished iPhone 13 costs about $500. In everyday use, whether opening apps or taking photos, the human brain can even tell the difference. Upgrading to the latest flagship model every 2 years means taking a hit of about $600 in depreciation each year. Over 30 years, that amounts to $18,000 in depreciation costs. If you invested that money at an 8% return, it would grow to nearly $90,000 after 30 years. You're throwing away $90,000 just to post a few photos on Instagram that have been compressed by algorithms and look exactly like the ones taken with your old phone. Buy a refurbished phone from 2 generations ago, save 30%, 50%, and enjoy zero decline in quality of life. The 12th trap, the cheap illusion of fast fashion, the fast fashion trap. On Shine, Temu, or Zara, a trendy top costs just $12, and a skirt is only $20. Looking at a shopping cart packed with 20 or 30 items, you feel like you're getting them for free, so you spend $150 a month on unboxing videos without a second thought. That adds up to $1,800 a year. But you've got the math wrong. The true price of a garment isn't the number on the tag. It's the cost per wear. Those $12 clothes are made from the cheapest synthetic fabrics. After just 2 washes, they pill, lose their shape, or come apart at the seams. Or maybe after just a month, the trends on TikTok have shifted, and you never want to wear them again. You've only worn it twice, so the true cost of that shirt is $6 per wear. In contrast, if you spend $60 on a well-tailored, timeless, high-quality cotton shirt, even if you only wear it 50 times, the cost per wear is just $1.2. The poor can afford cheap goods, because the cheapness of fast fashion is the most expensive tax in the world. If you cut back from spending $1,800 a year on fast fashion to spending $600 a year on a fewer but better selection of classic pieces, you'll save $1,200 a year. Invest that $1,200 at an 8% annualized return for 30 years, and it will grow into a staggering $136,000. Fast fashion giants aren't selling clothes at all. They're reselling the dopamine rush of unboxing packages. Social media algorithms deliberately manufacture micro-trends every 3 weeks, making you feel like there's always one more item missing from your wardrobe. You think you're at the forefront of fashion, but in reality, you're just spending money on a pile of textile waste that will end up in the trash in 3 months. And in the process, you've burned your future $130,000 to ashes. Now, let's stack all these traps onto a single person. Let's call him Jack. He spends $8,856 a year just on his car loan. He pays a $1,560 annual premium for food delivery. His streaming bundle costs $1,097. By insisting on buying brand name products at the supermarket instead of store brands with identical ingredients, he spends an extra $1,200 a year. 5 days a week of overpriced specialty coffee, $1,520. $800 spent on things he doesn't need at all, due to buy now, pay later impulse buys. $1,200 more on fast food than he would spend cooking at home. $480 on blind box subscriptions, most of which just gather dust. $1,500 in interest alone for luxury vacations charged to his credit card. Plus, $1,100 in brand premiums for designer clothes and daily necessities. Add these numbers up one by one, $18,313 in 1 year. If Jack had invested that $18,313 annually at an 8% annualized return for 20 years, it would have grown to about $900,000. He wasn't unable to save money. He was driving himself, handing that $900,000 over to the trap, one payment at a time. Each action taken individually seems perfectly normal, but when added together, it's a disaster. If these numbers have already stung you, that's great. This is the start of your counterattack. Before this week is over, I need you to immediately follow these 3 high-certainty actionable guidelines. No complex financial knowledge required. You can do this right after listening. First, the 60-day ghost audit. Download your debit and credit card statements from the past 2 months and go through them line by line with a pen. Identify every recurring payment and every charge that makes you pause and wonder, what on earth is this? Facing the full list at once usually reveals 3 to 7 worthless ghost charges. Ask yourself, am I still using this? Is it worth it? Does the experience justify the price? If you have any hesitation, cancel it immediately. This single step can free up $30 CD $80 in cash flow every month. Second, the N-2 rule. For every tech product or vehicle you buy in the next 2 years, insist on a refurbished or used model from 2 generations back, whether it's a phone, computer, car, or television. You won't notice any difference in performance with a model from 2 generations back, yet the price is slashed by 30%, 50%, save thousands of dollars every year. Big companies have a massive financial incentive to keep you locked in. Once you see through this, you're no longer a sucker. Third, the 10 times opportunity cost rule. Before buying any non-essential item over $200, force yourself to pause for 60 seconds and calculate the opportunity cost based on an 8% annualized return compounded over 30 years. The minimalist mental calculation: multiply the money you spend by 10 to see your future loss. $200 side $2,000, $500 side D, $5,000, $1,000 side D, $10,000. The human brain isn't naturally wired to process compound interest over decades. You must turn this calculation into muscle memory. In the video, Jack conducted a thorough audit, shut down 10 out of 12 traps, and freed up $12,000 in cash flow annually. He is 42 years old, with 20 years until retirement. Compounding at 8% annually, this $12,000 will grow into a massive retirement nest egg of approximately $595,000. He didn't buy high-risk stocks or speculate in cryptocurrency. He simply recognized the true nature of these traps and shut the doors on what wasn't worth it. These 12 traps aren't bad luck or natural inflation. They are money-sucking machines custom, designed for you by the world's top behavioral economists, user experience designers, and pricing strategists. Their sole objective is to maximize the gap between the money you actually spend and the money you subconsciously feel you should spend. Now, you have this roadmap individually. All these traps seem insignificant until they're added up. You've done the math. From now on, whether you meekly hand over your money or take back control and make your money work for you, it all comes down to a single decision.